Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anamika from Incubating, and I welcome you all to day one of the 2-day bootcamp on Spark AR Labs. Spark AR Labs is an initiative by Facebook to enhance the Spark AR creators by providing hands on training and workshops over the next couple of months, helping them implement those skills in real time AR Effect Hackathon Challenge. In the course of 2-day workshop, we will learn about the importance of AI technology in today's world, its uses, the career opportunities in this field. Further, we will learn how to develop AR effects on Spark AR and create 2D and 3D models on AR effect. So without wasting much time, I would like to invite Mr. Hardik Shah, Chief Strategy Officer, Camera, for today's session on how AR will transform the world. Over to you, Hardik.
Hi everyone, thank you for being part of this session. I'm very grateful to all of you for getting me out here. I'm Hardik. I run the India and Middle East operations of Camera. We are a Spark AR partner. Uh, and to give you a little gist, of what has happened or transcript through all the years is, I started my career as an intern in Microsoft, gradually moving to being the product manager for Xbox. And that's where I got really fascinated with everything which was augmented reality or virtual reality, because I was a part of the team which actually launched Connect in India. I don't know how many of you are gamers, but if you know about Xbox and if you know about Connect, uh, what Connect did is you could actually play games using your body, which means it could look at the body and it could mimic all your actions into the video game. And that for me was very fascinating. So what I did is, I was not a native AR guy, but as soon as Connect happened, I actually deep dived into what is it where all I can use my skill set. And eventually I landed up at Camera. We were previously called Superfan Studio or Superfan, but now we're renaming it to Camera because hey, Camera is where all the action happens. Uh, yes, those are my deeds. If you have to ever reach out to me, that being said, let me share when you're looking at my screen. I have a simple messaging to everybody. Right, I'm going to pause the video for a bit. I have a simple messaging to everybody. AR is here to stay. No matter what you do, you are experiencing AR every day of your life. Uh, you take up camera, you open it up, you log into Instagram, you start using those filters. That's AR for you. You go ahead and you do some cut copy paste. That's AR for you. Google has something called as Playground or Google Playground, which is on AR core. Again, it's integrating everything into the camera. Uh, iPhones have launched phones with lidar cameras just to help go ahead with AR. So if you're not adapting to AR, you're really missing out. And again, if you just look at this one particular video, you will see that it's for a phone brand for called IQ. They partnered up with BMW. You almost see a BMW out there. Those different things which it's speaking are basically features of the phone, and all of that is happening when you're moving your head around. So yes, AR is here to stay. No matter what anybody comes and tells you, it will always be here. Uh, there are few things which are changing in the world, and which is why you are seeing a lot of growth in AR. So obviously, the first thing is there's a lot of push happening from say Facebook and Instagram releasing new features, right? So for example, if a couple of days ago you did listen to the webcast of F8, you would have heard the announcement of in Instagram launching something called as a multi-peer API, which means you can now take AR not just on Facebook or on Instagram. You are now taking it out of that thing and you're putting it into Messenger. Now, Messenger is something that you call everybody on Messenger, right? There are 1 billion active video calls which happen in a month on Messenger, right? That's a lot. Now you're bringing AR to Messenger as well. So even in video calls, you will start doing a lot of AR. So yes, AR is happening with all of these different platforms coming in. There is 5G push happening, at least in the US. In India, there are talks happening of 5G. Geo was supposed to come up with a test 5G network, in the second half of the year. So there is some 5G push happening, and what 5G will do is what you what for what we would wait for, say, 10 minutes to download a 4 MB of an effect, for example, that we would do it in 1 second, right? So 5G will really drive that content push, right? And the other thing which is happening is spatial computing. So for those of you who do not know what spatial computing is, you would have seen an effect, an AR effect, where you look around the room and you go ahead and you place an object, place a table or a chair uh, into your room, to figure out how the size is going to look like it. And when you place it out there, those points get locked. That is called spatial computing, which means that it the AR environment understands where you're placing objects, and no matter how much you move your phone around, it will always be there. So these are some of the components, or some of the things which are driving a lot of growth. But a lot of growth has now also started because of the pandemic. What I would have seen happening in 5 or 6 years down the line is actually happening today. uh, there are every other second company is wanting to get into AR. If you've not thought about it, if you all know about TeamViewer, please go to teamviewer.com, have a look at it. They recently just announced support using AR. So AR is here. There's a lot of push happening to it, and if you are in the AR industry, you actually are in a fantastic space to grow your career. Uh, Again, what is happening with AR? We've been hearing everything which is AR, everything which is AR, but who are the people who are really consuming this AR? And there is a simple mechanism, is that between Gen Z and the millennials, you know, they are all camera native people, right? So, if you look at people around you, everybody has now understood how to open up the camera, how to get onto Zoom, how to get onto Google Hangout, how to do a call over Messenger. You've become a camera native person, and because you've become a camera native person, you've gone ahead and changed your virtual background. You do not see a virtual background out there. This is just an example that there's no background out there, which means this is not in AR. But you've generally seen people going on to Zoom, they going ahead and changing their virtual background. Somebody using the dog filter. Somebody, there was a very fantastic article talking about the runway aurora filter, which was happening. So between Gen Z and millennials, basically, these are all camera native or digital native people. uh, I don't think our kids will ever understand, what was a CD or what was a tape back in those days. They all understand right now music which comes digitally to them. So yes, they are digital first, and more importantly, they are also camera first. And there was a report which says that between Gen Z and the millennials, they are going to have almost about $1 trillion of spending power in the next 20 years, which is huge, right? That, I think, is just blows my mind. I mean, think about this, right? If you're going to buy a pillow, that's a spending power that everybody would have. If you're going to buy a car, if you're going to buy a TV, even if you're going to buy clothes, you have that spending power. And because of this spending power, they are the first ones to adapt to AR, and they are the first ones to try all of these new digital experiences. I have a very simple funda. For it's a simple statement which says that companies which adopted actually got money into the bank, but companies which did not adapt to technologies sank. Back in the days of 82s, 83s, 80s, PC was really big. People were moving out of Unix ecosystem, which was a pretty much a command line prompt ecosystem onto PC, onto Microsoft, onto Windows, and getting used to the GUI. Obviously, Apple changed the game, Windows changed the game. While that was happening, while people were doing all of this thing, internet got developed by Team Lee, and hey, people started to realize what is a domain name. I have to now, not write anything onto a physical diary that I have, but I can make a note and I can publish it on Blogspot or something. And while we were using PCs to consume all of this thing, there was this generation where everybody started to make websites, right? HTML5 or plain HTML. Obviously, HTML5 came later. People started to make those websites, make their presence online. But soon came the age of mobile phones, where people were wanting to browse those websites over mobiles. And if you as a company owner, as a business owner, as a professional, did not make a website that would fit in a mobile, you obviously started getting very less leads, because people started browsing via that. And hence also the ecosystem started to become bigger from the apps perspective. You would have not heard about apps on the web back then, but suddenly everybody started to talk about apps on the mobile. That's what Apple did, that's what Google did. And while that was what was happening as of a few years ago, I think since the last 5 years, people are moving more and more moving towards enabling AR within their apps itself, because they want customers to experience, to feel, to see their products, and make a decision immediately, and not wait until they would come to a store or do something around it. So yes, companies that adapted to a lot of these technologies, they always bank. But companies that did not adapt to all of it, they really sank. Uh, to just to give you a brief market, right? What happens with AR? How are people looking at AR and what's happening, right? Think about this number. You will come back and you will always answer, you will always wonder कि यार मेरा AR कौन यूज करेगा, मैं AR तो बना रहा हूँ but कौन खरीदेगा इसको, right? That's a number that we'll always have, because we want to get into AR. But before you get into AR, it's really important to say that there are at least 120 million pages on Facebook which are businesses, right? Those businesses have never used AR. Are they a potential customer? Absolutely, they are a potential customers, right? So yes, you have this. I'm giving you numbers which are right there in front of you, right? This is pretty much an how do I put, pretty much a target that you can always look at, right? There are about 20 million of e-commerce stores. Can you create AR for them? Can you create an AR where, if a e-commerce store has a sofa, can you make that 3D model, and can you, so that you can have that AR in that e-commerce store, and when a customer is onto the e-commerce store, they can look at the 3D model, hit view in camera options, see it in their own space, and immediately buy it out, right? So that is happening. And then there are 600 of AR creators like all of us, who are always collaborating, always need help, that they have a particular customer, they don't have that one skill set, maybe you have that skill set, and you can always collaborate and work together. So yes, AR is really untapped. It's growing by and large. uh, AR, I would say, is the next video. What 16 by 9 videos did to how we consume content, AR is going to do all of that thing. Uh, we have between me and my partners, we think about something called as Vice. And Vice, if you're seeing on your screen, is where all AR can be used, and where all they can make an impact. So, first is visualizing it in try-ons. You want to do makeup? Fair enough. My AR is going to help you understand how you look in a particular shade of a lipstick or a eye color or a lens or something like that, right? So that's a try on that you do. Obviously, home furnishing is the lowest hanging fruit which you can cater to tomorrow. The second and the most thing is, how do you give some information about a product? I'm going to try and play this video, and if you look at this, this is a filter made for Huawei when they launched their laptop. Now, what you're doing is you're placing it on a table into your own home. You're looking at some hotspots and you're experiencing what that device is even before it is getting launched. So yes, you are informing and you're instructing what is to be done. Uh, uh, you know, in this pandemic, we've seen a lot of people graduate, pass out, but they never attended the graduation ceremony. What could be the best way to give them an AR filter where they can experience, taking their hat, throwing their hat up in the sky and falling it back on. So yes, you are collaborating, you are communicating with somebody and saying that, listen, we all are in this together. We will work together, uh, and make some great experiences possible with AR. And last, you've already seen the IQ example, so this is what it is. It's actually going to give you a lot of product information. Think of it as gaming. There is a score which is happening on the top of the screen, and then whoever gets the highest number of score actually takes home a prize. So that being said, uh, here are some examples that I want you to look at. What, while those were the use cases, these are some more examples of what happens, right? And this is the tentpole. So there are these events which will come through. Few years ago there was something called as bottle cap challenge. I don't know how many of you did that thing, but if you look at me and if you look at my face currently, I don't you would realize that I'm not in that physical shape to do it. Because hey, I've always been sitting on my computer doing things. I'm doing less of physical activities, but I could not, I could not be a part of it. So you made an AR lens or a AR filter, which on mouth open would automatically bring a 3D foot up, in the air, and when you and it would just roll the bottle away. We're going to try and play the video. Hopefully the video plays. Give me a sec. Can you see the video? I'm not too sure if you guys can see the video. I'm going to share a link to the deck a little later. So there are some examples out there. Uh, you know, we did something with with brands like Google and Cadbury. There was something of how it was being used in Bollywood for promotion of movies. So that's 2.0 Akshay Kumar trying it out. This was, Salman Khan Dabang trying it out again with Booth. You had the director of the movie, Shashank Khaitan, trying out Booth and then posting it on his Instagram saying that it is releasing on so and so date. We had IPL teams like Chennai Super Kings using Whistle Fodu and engaging with their customer, right? Delhi Capitals wanted to do something even more interesting where you could scan their logo, and we created a 3D model of Shreyas Iyer, and he broke up on the poster, and he came out of it. We did something for ICC Cricket World Cup. Again, I'm going to share the link of the presentation a little longer after this thing. And while all of that is happening, there is a big focus happening now on avatar creation. So you can create 3D models of avatars, you can have them dance. Think about a concept called virtual being, what your digital self will look 5 years, 10 years down the line. And can your digital self become an influencer by itself without you being have to present anywhere, right? So that's one. And then, wearing a bodysuit, and you're dancing. You can see somebody dancing out there, and you can have this robot actually performing the same steps. So I can play the video all over again for you to look at it, and this is exactly what is going to happen in the next few years. Sorry, sorry about it's just my internet connection which is giving that issue. But you can see a lot of these if you're following the video, right? So these are some great examples of AR. But what's the bigger problem of AR is the problem of not having people to do 3D, is the problem of not doing VFX. What is it? I think the barrier to AR is lack of content. And when I say lack of content, uh, I literally mean all of us thinking through how an AR effect can be done, can be used by most people. How is it solving a particular problem that I have, or am I doing AR for the heck of it? If you are able to answer a question of saying that the AR that I'm going to make is going to solve this particular problem, you probably your AR is going to get accepted in a much wider sense. So become that person which will make using your AR somebody else will create a content. Become that person to give somebody tools to create content. Uh, who are the people I personally think are ripe to get into AR are VFX professionals. You are already creating a lot of effects, for movies, for TikToks, for Instagrams, right? It's time to take those skills and start downloading Spark AR, creating those VFX effects, and bringing it into augmented reality. 3D modelers. There is going to be a vast need of people to have 3D objects. If you looked at that small bottle cap challenge, right? That bottle was made in 3D. You can take your skills of 3D from being a static content into AR, can make it dynamic, make it much more interactive. If you're good at scripting, if you're a fantastic developer, hey, if you know scripting, take all your skills of scripting and applying it into AR. Believe me, it's going to make you feel really, really wonderful. Animation, again, if you know what are PNG sequences, this is the place for you to be at, because when you're creating those animations in After Effects, the same animations can actually be used to create some wonderful AR effects. Again, designers, painters, color artists, uh, AR, the foundation of AR is to be creative with your thoughts, is not to be bound by thinking, there's this wall out here, what can I do with the wall? Do I have to do something on the wall, or can I break the wall open and have characters coming onto the wall, or can I break the wall open and have people walk into it in augmented reality? If you go with that thought saying that the wall is not going to be a barrier for you, this is where you have to be. Machine learning, again, what you have been doing with machine learning, or what people have been traditionally been doing with computer vision and machine learning, take that same concepts, apply it into AR, and what you will have is suddenly somebody transforming into a Van Gogh portrait, right? How is that possible? There's something called a style transfer. Use the same formulas, mechanics of style transfer, same algorithms of style transfer, take it out, create a ML model out of it, put it up in your AR software, and every time your camera is going to look to something, it's going to apply that style transfer onto that particular image that it is looking via the camera. And then there are people like me who traditionally have been some have done some coding in my earlier careers of my life, but I currently like to just ideate of what can happen with AR, right? People like me who are also creative strategists, right? It's really important for us also to understand all of these technologies, to be aware of technologies and make a career out of it. Hey, if you really ask me, I cannot do VFX, I cannot do 3D modeling. I can script a little, but I don't script, I haven't scripted in like 3 to 4 years now. I have never done animation in my life. I mean, I can't paint to save my life. I definitely cannot paint to save my life. I understand machine learning concepts because that's what I learned in my college. But even if I'm not all of these things, I know I have that creative brain to think about this is how I want my AR effect to be. This is how I want image to come from right of the screen, left of the screen, top of the screen, or somewhere. This is how I want the Delhi Capitals logo to tear apart. Should it tear outside? Should it tear inside? Can we add some music onto it? So if you're looking at the game, right, what was that music that was playing behind the scenes, right? Is that a good music to have? Will there be a different music if you're turning the car? What's the sound effect to happen and all of it? If you can visualize, if you can think through all of that into your brain, if you can explain it to your developers, to your coders, and everybody around you, it's for you, right? So yes, accept all of these, yes, and then people like me who cannot do any of this can also become AR professional because of what we bring onto the table. Um, how to begin, what to do? That's a question that people keep asking me a lot. I think self learning is the key. Uh, I have always gone to YouTube and I've searched for videos that the community has created on how to do segmentation. I wouldn't understand the word segmentation 2 years ago. After getting into AI, I really understood what segmentation is. If you are a VFX artist, you already know what a segmentation is. So for you, the learning curve is even smaller. If I can do AR, I think everybody can do AR. So yes, go ahead, go onto YouTube, look for videos. Do not wait for somebody to come and spoon feed you saying that, oh, this is how you drag and drop, this is how you can place objects, this is how you can, you can look at it in your 3D screen. No, don't do all of that. Just go to YouTube, look at the videos, and you will start learning about it. The second best place uh, for resources and to learn is there is a fantastic Spark AR community group on Facebook. Go ahead and ask your questions out there. I am sure there are millions of people already who are ready and eager to help you to understand what AR is, right? So let's say you have a client and the client says that I want not two logos but 10 logos into into Instagram. As a policy, if you have 10 logos and if they're not integrated into a 3D scene within the filter effect, it's going to get rejected. But hey, because you're starting out does not mean you will know all of that thing. So what you could definitely do is you could ask those questions in the community, and there'll be somebody who will answer those to you. Spark your lab, something that we are doing right now. Please attend things like that, right? Over a period of next 2 days, you're going to do a lot of deep dives into Spark. Please ask questions. It would be great if you can collect your questions, send it across to your leads. They will start collecting it. They will give it to the speaker beforehand, and what the speaker can actually do is, they can come up with a demo to teach you all of that thing, right? Again, I've spoken about Spark AR Facebook group. Please go ahead and look at it, and definitely the videos. If you do these 5-10 things, I think you will learn everything around it. And believe me, this all of this that I'm talking is just the tip of the iceberg. See, there will be digital avatars. There are already digital avatars of people on Instagram who have a following of 5 6 million users. They're already making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single year. They need AR support to make sure that they are able to fly from New York to Paris to Mumbai to Delhi to Kolkata, wherever, right? So digital avatars is there. Face AR is just the basic of it, right? Doing things on the face. It's still there. It's basic, that's your stepping stone. Then obviously there is portal AR where you're transforming somebody to be in and out of a system which does not exist. You obviously have something called as uh, sorry, I lost the word, but market tech, where just like you could scan Delhi Capital's logo and you could have share coming out of it. So as and when technologies are evolving, this is what is happening. And like I said, what we are doing out here is just the beginning. Is really the tip of iceberg. If you're not into AR, you are going to miss out on the next 10 years of what the world is going to see a lot. So welcome to the world of AR. Thank you for being a part of the AR ecosystem. I hope you will learn as much as I am learning from you. I hope you'll be a part of the communities. I hope you will not shy away from asking questions, because more often than not, it's experts who literally learn a lot of things from somebody who's not an expert. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time. If there are any questions, I can take them now. Back to you all. Anamika, it's back to you if you're there.
Yeah, hi. Thank you very
Hi.
much for your insight, Hardik. It is nice to know that we are catching up with technology. We are kind of evolving in technology stream, and there are many options that the children can look up to. Thank you very much for your insight onto that. There is a question: can we use Spark AI to create AR models for use in web apps?
No, so what you can, so okay, so think about this, right? Spark AR is a tool where you bring your 3D models into to create effects on Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, and Portal. You cannot use that to creating anything on the web, or it has not been enabled yet. For that, you will probably have to uh, look at web AR as an example, or 3JS, as the technology is called. You can use something like 3JS or 8wall or things like those to create something on the web. But for the sake of Spark AR Labs, no, you cannot do that.
Right. So there is a continuous question that is coming around that will teachers be given to only the top performers or to everybody who submits the project? So you
I
have
think
to
that's a
submit
question for you all.
yeah, so you have to of course submit the project, the idea. So the effects, once you one is that you have to submit the effects. Second is it has to be strictly on the themes that have been mentioned. Only then you become eligible for that.
And remember, when you're making those effects on the themes, please go through all the Spark AR rules and guidelines. There is a fantastic post out there of what will get approved and what will not get approved. Follow that. You do not want to go into the system where you've made an effect, you made something, you submitted it, it's got rejected, and then you're wondering what went wrong. While they will give you a reason of what went wrong, but why do you want to go through the hassle? So please read the guidelines. That will help you prepare or plan it much better.
Yeah, and Pranay has been asking a question about will Blender experience be of any help?
Absolutely. What you can do, so okay, believe it or not, people don't use Maya, people use Blender for creating all their 3D stuff. We use Blender in our office. We Because Maya, hey, it's too expensive to, for a startup like ours, it's too expensive to buy the software. We use Blender every day, and we actually make models in Blender and bring it into Spark AR. So yes, Blender is really one of the stepping stones to make much complex AR effects.
Right. Can I create a versatile target tracking AR?
Absolutely, versatile AR is supposed to be versatile, and if you're doing target tracking, it will always be versatile. So again, if you've not seen the keynote of F8 Refresh, please go back and look at it. They have just introduced a way where two different targets can have two different types of AR effects within the same effect, right? So if I have a Delhi Capitals logo and if I have a Rajasthan Royals logo, both the logos will work in a completely different AR experience as opposed to just one single logo that could be targeted a while ago, but now they've released something where you can have two of them together.
So there's a continuous question that I have submitted my effect, and it is the mail says that it has not been submitted. See, that is an auto-generated email. The submissions are being updated very regularly. You will receive an updated email by tomorrow, so don't worry about that. Yeah. Okay. There was another question. This is what happens when you spam the chat. That the original question gets lost. There is somebody who asked about location-based AR.
Nah, no location-based AR yet.
Mhm.
At least in the Spark ecosystem, there isn't a way to create a location-based AR. Not
Right.
yet.
Not yet. So we can be hopeful later, sometime.
Yeah, I mean, see what is supposed to happen is, just for everybody is, just from a thought process, right? Yes, you would want to create a location-based AR, but to answer a simple question, right? Will you get the amount of reach? See, when you create an AR, you have to think about how many people's lives am I going to change with the kind of effect that I'm going to make. If you start creating something which is a very location based AR, you're only restricting yourself to something for a very smaller audience, right? However, if you create an AR, let's say on World Environment Day, if you create an AR which gives them messaging around, how to save the world, how to be very very thoughtful towards the environment, think about think about how many people can try your AR experience and you can change their lives. Think about that, right? So yes, we don't know when location aware ARs will come into marketplace. Is that a priority? I don't know if that's a priority. Is that not a priority? I don't even know if it's not a priority. You'll have to redirect all of that onto forums, but I will always say that think about how many lives your AR can touch as opposed to thinking how cool my AR effect is. If you
Right,
go down that path, you will be a much better AR creator.
right. So there is a question about the deadline. That is 20th June. And what else? So yeah, that's I think pretty much the question thing. Yes, this video would be posted. You would find it on YouTube. Um, okay, so all of you who have not yet submitted, you can continue to submit or updating your effects till 20th of June, right? So you have an option of updating them also, right? And what prospects of AR would you recommend to someone who's into creative film video editing?
You've already said it, right? It's creative, it's editing, right? And when you think about creative, right, you guys, creative, see, film editing is something where you know that you have footage worth say 4 hours. You have to cut it short down to 2 hours, and for you to tell that story, you really know that if I'm going to use these scenes, I will be able to tell a story. For somebody who is doing that thing, you already know how to create stories. It's just about what are the tools you need to tell that story. And like I said, it's the lack of content, right, in AR. So if you are able to tell a story using 3D, using VFX, fantastic. That's what you need. So yes, if you are somebody who is doing film editing, this is a career path. Believe me, it is. I struggle a lot into creating great stories, but if I have somebody who is already editing, in the film industry, in the movie industry, or anywhere, you already know of the story. You know the entire storyline. You have to just cut cut, copy, paste it together. To it's a simpler job than you have with AR. So yes, you can definitely be a part of the AR ecosystem.
Right. The other question is how many entries per person? So there is minimum one and maximum as much as you want to. There's another question. Can I make an AR effect where I can select between two or three effects? Suppose one contains mustache and the other one contains a mask. Can I choose whenever I want, whatever I want between them?
Oh, absolutely. So look for something called as Facebook UI elements. When you're creating those effects, you will find on your Instagram what you have is three. You probably have those three native round circle UI elements just above where you have the record button. Those and each of those can be different effects. So this is what we do, right? Click a very classic example. If you're making a filter, which is a makeup filter, and you want to change the color of the lipstick, right? You would use the Facebook native UI elements where people would keep tapping onto those smaller buttons to get that color of lipstick. And the reason why it is not on any trigger is because you want to see what color it is, what is the name of the color, etc. So each native UI element will always have a different trigger, will have a different effect, and if you look at that, it should solve your problem.
Perfect. There's another question which says, which app is good for editing?
Editing what?
Yeah,
If
editing your video.
Okay, so if you want to edit your VFX, while a lot of people use After Effects, I don't know if you have access to it. If not, ask in the community. They'll give you some free. They'll give you some softwares which are available for free. I don't use that, so I don't know. We use After Effects. If you have to edit your 3D model, you can use Blender, which is available for free, or you can use Maya or Max 3D Max. Uh, if you if you want to convert a video into a PNG sequence, there are a lot of those converters available. You can either do it in After Effects, or you can just search online and you will find those tools where you can change it. So what is it that you want to edit?
How much time does it take to show an AR effect on Instagram after uploading?
So after you have uploaded, and if everything is according to the Spark AR rules, your effect should be approved within 5 business days. If it is not approved within 5 business days, you can obviously go to Facebook AR community and write saying that, here's my effect ID. It's not been approved in 5 days. Can somebody look at it? And somebody from the Facebook team will look at it. Once that is done, it would take about say 2 or 3 hours maximum to percolate into everybody's Instagram phones, and to show up on your. So it's immediate to show up on your profile, but it might not go on to all of your followers. So just something that if you do not know, in Instagram, if you today go into stories, you have effects at the bottom carousel, right? That bottom carousel, the first few effects are basically effects which your friends have created, people who you follow have created, and then at the very end of that scroll you will find something which is very generic, which is what Instagram is pushing out. But if you follow say 10 people who have already created effects, the first 5 or 6 will be from those 10 people or your favorites.
Right. Is it possible to enable monetization over a submitted AR stickers?
I don't know if you can create AR stickers. That's one. Two, the way we monetize it, the way I monetize it is I go to brands, I tell them what is I first understand what their product is. I find out what their business challenge is, and I solve that business challenge using AR. Something that we did for Aiku. They partnered with a game. They partnered up with a car. They had a lot of new features in their phones. We created a game, which could capture those features, and then you would have a score on that. So that we're solving a business challenge of the phone company, telling you, these are the features of my phone. Uh, did we solve a business challenge? Yes, absolutely, we solved a business challenge. Did we make money? Yes, we made a money. Did we make money off Instagram? Yes, it was Instagram's platform which helped us make money by creating an AR effect. So your only way to monetize right now is to build those effects for brands.
Does Unity provide multi-target AR simultaneously feature?
I would not be the right person to answer that, but here's what I can do. I can go back, I can ask my team who works on Unity, I can find that answer and I can send it to Anamika and she can send it back to you.
Sure, thank you. Okay, so I have done registration, but in the dashboard it's asking to submit the screenshot. I forgot to take this screenshot. I'm not unable to take the screenshot. Now what do I do? Go to the review page again, take a screenshot and send it to us. Right? Can you please tell us what are the rules we need to follow to create a project so that a project is not rejected? All the rules will be explained in the hands-on session, which is going to happen right after this.
And while you're saying that thing, I'm just pulling up the link which can just help them.
Yeah. Uh, okay. There is this constant question of the T-shirt. I think at your age and the opportunity that you're getting, you should be more worried about the learning that is happening. Of course, the T-shirt will come across. I've said it so many times now. Okay. Does the air should the air be a perfect one, or it can be a beginner level to be qualified for a t-shirt? Oh, you can be at a beginner level. There's another question that you are beginners. We don't know how to go about it. So that is perhaps the reason why we are doing the hands-on session. Yeah.
Again, if you have, if your question is we are beginners, we don't know how to go about it, I just said it in my session. Please go to YouTube, please go to Facebook AR community on Facebook, ask your questions there, right? Think about what is it that you want to make. There are numerous videos out there. You can watch the videos, you can learn it yourself, while you can also attend hands-on labs. But if you see these videos before you do that thing, you will be in a much better position to understand what is being taught in the hands-on labs. So take some time out, take some effect out.
Right. Can everyone on Instagram see my AR effect after it is published?
Absolutely. Instagram, on Instagram, AR effects are not age gated. So if you already have a login, and if you have a profile on Instagram, you can see it on Instagram. Yes, they're not age gated.
Right. Uh, okay. If Spark AR Studio software does not support the graphic card on of the laptop, is there any alternative way to create the AR?
Sorry, I have a very blunt answer to that. If it does not support the graphics card, you will unfortunately have to change either your graphics card or your laptop. That's the only answer that I have. There's no other way to do it. Sorry, yeah, there's no other way to do it.
Right. Okay. I would like to know the companies who need AR experts. Nice question. Huh?
Sorry, the question again?
They want to know the companies who require AR experts.
I would say studios like ours really require AR experts. I would say all the e-commerce companies, if not today, will tomorrow will require AI experts. All the apps today, which are e-commerce apps, tomorrow will bring AR into their own e-commerce apps. It's already started to happen with New Balance, NYX Cosmetics. If you go into their apps, AR is already. In fact, if you go into MyGlam app today, which is an Indian company, MyGlam app, they have AR in their app to try on makeup. So all of these companies who are also creating apps will, if not today, tomorrow, require AR professionals to bring AR into their apps, into the app ecosystem. You also think about web AR. Just like you had HTML5, you also have web AR, and web AR will also be in quite big demand happening out there. Instagram has Instagram Commerce, so if you know of small businesses who are selling on Instagram, uh, and they have Instagram Commerce as a part of their profile, you can have AR effects in Instagram Commerce, and that is also something will require a lot of AR professionals. So, here's a fantastic idea. Start understanding what AR commerce is. Start figuring out how to create AR for those commerce websites. Get your expertise onto it, and tomorrow you can start your own company, which will cater to every single AR, every single commerce, small business, commerce stores on Instagram, and provide AR effects to all of them. So that's something that you can do.
Right. Does private and public account depend in my effects insights?
No, it doesn't matter if your account is private or public. For your effect to be available to everybody, it will have to be a public account. It cannot be a private account. But a private account or a public account can access your effect from if they have access to it. I mean, if they have the link to it.
Uh, Sir Agnel John has asked, can we recommend this workshop for class 10 students? Yes, sir. You can bring your class 10 students also. How much time will it take to learn AR effects?
For me, it took me 1.5 hours to create my first AR effect. It's as simple as that. And I made my
Great.
first AR effect was creating a countdown timer, not more
Great.
than 2 hours.
Will this hackathon provide us a job opportunity in Facebook? I really wish it did. I really wish there are other things also that Facebook look takes into account before employing somebody apart from this workshop.
Why, again, if you are an AR expert already, you will start your own business.
Yeah. Okay. How to integrate AR with Android Studio?
Uh, Outside the purview of Spark AR Labs, but you will need to learn AR Core, and AR Core is a library from Google which works all Android devices, and that's how you can integrate with Google Studio.
What is the salary of an AR developer?
Uh, what is the skill set that the AR developer is providing? Uh, okay, so very different. Well, I would think at least you're as an intern developer doing everything in AR. Uh, I think you can start off by about 30 to 40,000 a month if you're really highly skilled, and then as and when you progress, you can reach to 25-30 lakhs a year. You have to be really great at what you do. That's it.
Yeah, so essentially the skills do matter, and the best, today the companies, any company as a matter of fact, even the big tech companies are looking for more skill based, employable employees
Exactly.
kind of thing. So it doesn't matter whether you have done this workshop, this hackathon, this certification, it doesn't matter anymore nowadays. If you know how to kind of solve a problem without showing a certificate, that's, I think, what companies are looking forward to. And if you have that kind of skill, there is, I don't think, a dearth of any reservation about the packages. There is no dearth for that.
Yeah, it's all about skill, right? Nobody is going to ask you if you're an IIT graduate or if you went to
Exactly.
NITs of the world. As long as you can show a fantastic portfolio, as long as you can showcase your skills, it really works.
Right. I am a PHP developer. Will AR help me in future?
AR is going to help everybody in future, no matter if you're a developer or a designer or you're somebody like me who is a business owner. AR is going to help everybody. And yes, if you're doing PHP, you probably know a lot of scripting. You can definitely start scripting for AR.
What is the range of AR opportunities in industry, and in what sequence should they be pursued?
Uh, okay. I have a very simple answer to this thing. When we started off the company, we were only creating about one or two AR effects in in say 3 to 4 months, right? And this was back in 2016 when it was fairly new, right? Today we go making at least 10 AR experiences in a month, a minimum of 10. It's generally about 10, but a minimum of 10 AR experiences in a month. So, so for us, from so much to doing so much, from a team of say 5 people, we are now a team of 20 people. So that's how the scale has grown. So you can take a wild guess of what's going to happen.
Do you recommend any AI resource links to learn from?
Again, YouTube video, Spark AR, Facebook group. People are very, very helpful. You have to ask the questions. You have to ask the right questions. It's not a place for you to market yourself, but it's a place from where you can learn a lot of skill sets. So please look at YouTube videos. Please, please keep looking at Spark AR Labs. That's a program that Facebook is running. Please be a part of the Facebook Spark AR group. If you're not a part of it, please go up and sign up today itself.
Which language is preferred for AI scripting?
JavaScript. If you know JavaScript, you already know something.
Right.
But each software will have its own language. But as long as so JavaScript, by the way, is the standard. So as long as you know JavaScript, it is fine.
We lost your voice, Hardik.
I'm saying as long as you know JavaScript, it should be fine.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. It was lovely hearing you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And thank
No
you for
problem.
the insights that you have shared with us. We look forward to more such interactions with you.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you for having me here. I hope I can do a lot more of this with the newer set of
Sure.
batches, help them become a part of the AR community that I'm now a part of. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite Tanisha Rana and Anuj from Incubate in team for a hands-on session. They will tell you how to use Spark AR and to build your own AR effects.
So, thanks a lot for the introduction. So, I'll just start by sharing my screen. Just give me a moment. Yes, so the screen is been shared. So, let's get started. It was a wonderful session by Mr. Hardik. He gave us a lot of insights regarding Spark AR. So, let's get started. And before we start, we wish you all the best for starting your experience, getting experience and starting your journey with Facebook Spark AR Labs and for the AR effect you'll create. And as for the agenda of this hands-on session, we'll take you through the introduction. What is Spark AR? Why Spark AR? And what is this initiative about? Opportunities and scope. It has been already covered, but still I'll get you through some of the opportunities and what are the market perspective in the upcoming future process of participating in the context. This is the the main part of the presentation where I will register in front of you and take you through the whole set of process, whole set of steps to complete your registration, and how to get all the resources, what needs to be downloaded, how the registration will take place, and why we are doing this. And then we'll download the Spark Air Studio and we'll get started with the your first AR effect. While making a first year effect, Tanisha will take you through the process and she'll make two effects, and she'll let you know how to deploy it. That means how to send it to Facebook for the approval and which part of the process needs to be taken a screenshot and where to submit. So this is how the whole hands-on session will go on. And let's start with the most basic question: what is Facebook Spark AR Labs and what is this initiative about? So basically, this Spark AR Labs is an initiative by Facebook to enhance the skills of Spark AR creators and taking augmented reality to a next level. Because if we see around the market, the foreign market has already been integrated, or we can say the market is going hand in hand with AR. But in India, AR part is still being developed, and it's one of the trending technologies. But students don't tend to involve much in AI. They want to stick to the mainstream line technologies like web development, app development, something like that. So we Facebook Spark AI Lab started this initiative and working with Incubate IND to upskill the students along with to give credits to the doctors, to the frontline workers, because frontline workers are being appreciated. We all know that, but at the some phases, it's what we say, people are not getting too much awareness around that. So I'll just ask one question. Show me your excitement in the chat. How many of you have been vaccinated, and how many of you have posted it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snap, everywhere? Just write it in the chat, yes or no. So I'll be keeping an eye on the YouTube chat screen as well. So if you have taken vaccination, and if you have taken a picture pic of that and posted it on social media, so just write yes or no. There are a few people who have taken it, so there are a few people who have no. Okay. Okay, so some people are sad they're not vaccinated. So no worries, you will get vaccination soon. And yes, there are a few people who have posted it, and okay, so I have got my response. So just imagine if you get a place where you can create awareness about vaccinations, because few people are scared of vaccination and they don't want to take it, or they don't want to get involved it. And you can do that by sitting in front of your laptop and being a part of a digital campaign which is started by everyone. How does that sounds to you? And you can do that sitting in front of your laptop and creating different filters, making people aware of that. The filters can be used on Facebook, it can be used on Snapchat. So Facebook and Instagram. So this is why this initiative started, and the two topics which we have selected, the frontline workers and COVID vaccination. So these topics are selected around the current scenario, and this is how, and this is why this initiative was started. And this is the first collaboration in India with Facebook Spark AR Lab, which intends to take AR to the next level. What is Spark AR? This is one of the basic questions. What is Spark AR? So Spark AR is a studio. What is a studio now? If you are a coder, you must have used Atom, you must have used PyCharm, you must have, let's take it to the basic level, Turbo C, C++, right? To code. If you are a graphic designer, you must have used Photoshop, Illustrators, or Lighthouse. So in a similar way, this is just a studio to create augmented reality effects. That's AR effects. And how we'll make that, the hands-on training would be taken after few minutes by Tanisha. What are the opportunities and scope? As you can see in the graph, okay, I was just checking out the chat for some questions, so let's move on. So as you can see the graph, the scale of AR in the market has been increased drastically and will be increasing in the upcoming future. And as it was mentioned by Mr. Shah, that there are n number of opportunities. We just need to have creativity, and I have taken a list down of few opportunities which you can take part. You can be a 3D artist, you can be software developer, you can be a system validation engineer, software designer, and design architect. So this is the main thing which we will be doing: how to register for Spark AR. So let's just go to the website. So this is the website. You just need to log in. The website link has already been dropped previously on the chat section. We will drop it on again so that you can register if you haven't registered here. So let's start from the top. So this is the website. You need to click here to register. But before that, here you can see today's session. These are the two topics which you need to create. The AR filters around these two topics. Create AR effects for celebrating frontline COVID warriors, and creating an AR effect to celebrating getting vaccinated. The, the schedule, we have a workshop tomorrow as well, so make sure to attend that. And the last day to submit is 20 June, but make sure to do before that. And yes, if you have submitted your effect and it gets approved, you will be getting a swag from mine. That's t-shirt and certificate, and no need to worry about that. So here are some colleges and the resources. Someone People were asking regarding the resources. So this is the section. If you can see my cursor, this is a section where you will find out the resources which is needed to be downloaded. You are finding your way around interface, patch editor. What are these resources will be covered by Tanisha. So I'll just get started and register now. So, okay, I'll just put on my details. I'll just put ABC work experience, and I need to put. You need to put your GitHub profile, but I'll just copy this link right now to because I'm just showing you how this will take place, and then register now. After completing the registration process, you will see the whole slides, Google Slides here, which will take you through the process of registering and what needs to do next. You will see all the process step by step, how to register and how to take on, how to download the valid resources, and start with your creating a first filter and how the submission will take place. If you can take a look at this session, you can take a look at the presentation. It will be available on the dashboard. And okay, I need to verify my mobile number. I'll just just give me a moment. Yes, as you can see, mobile number is verified and the dashboard is available to you now. If you click on the workshop, you will be directed to the current workshop going on. If you click on communication channels, you will be redirected to Slack. For any queries, you can reach out to us over Slack and submit the screenshot. So after taking the screenshot, you need to select on which problem statement you created, and then you need to upload your screenshot here. You can just select whatever the file your screenshot is, and you can just click on submit right now. So after registration, you need to click on this button. You will be redirected to a different page. So let's just wait for it to load. So here you will find the guide. You have to go through all the steps. You read everything. You will get the idea how everything works out. And when you come to the bottom, you will see here register now. Click on this register now, and the process of registering for Sparkia will start. So you just need to click on the registration will take place through logging in your Facebook account. So make sure you have your Facebook account with you, logged in and ready. Okay, so my voice is back.
Okay,
Let me just go on.
I think Anuj is having some network issues at his end. Is my voice okay? Okay. Seems like Anuj has a network issue at his end. Okay.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible, Anuj. Continue.
Great. I'm really sorry for the issues. Coming back. So you need to log in with your Facebook account. I have already created my own account, so I'll be using a different account to log in. You can just click here, continue, and then it will take you to the next step. So we'll just wait here around. So I'll just take you through the process. Here you need to, if my voice was lagging, you need to click on this button. They'll redirect to this website. Go through the content. It will help you a lot when you're creating your first AR effect. And when you go to the bottom of the screen, you'll find a register here button. After clicking on this, you will come here and you need to log in through your Facebook account. So make sure that your Facebook account is already logged in, like I have mine here. Just look here for the Indian time. Yeah, you can select anyone here. I'll select New Delhi, update time zone. I'll just put my mail address here. You need to check here and need to submit and boom. Your registration has been completed. So basically what happened now, you have registered for Facebook Blueprint and you have access to your own Spark AR dashboard and go through these videos. It will help you understand what the things really are and you just need to click here. As you can see, download Spark AR Studio. When you click here, you will be redirected to this website and you need to click on download. The download will initiate. I'll just pause the download because I already have Sparia Studio. When the download is completed, you need to click on install, next, install, and the installation will take place. And this is your Facebook Sparia dashboard. When Tanisha will show you how the process is taken, and the end when you complete your AR filter or AR effect, it will be shown here in the insights, and this is how you can view your insights. So after installing, this icon will be available here, Spark Air Studio, and you can just click on that and start. And after creating your own filter, your own AR effect, just click on Insights. I don't have any filter right now, so it's showing empty. But after publishing, you will have an AR filter here. Just take a screenshot, go back to the dashboard, click here, click the problem in which you are making your AR effect, click on browse, upload the image, and ta-da, your submission has been completed. Now, what to do after Studio has been downloaded? How to make your first AR filter? The basics will be taken on by Tanisha. How which resources are needed? So I'll just hand over session to Tanisha. Over to you.
Okay. Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Tanisha, you are audible.
Okay. So, hi everyone. This is Tanisha from Incubate In, and I'll be teaching you how to make basic AR effects. So, we'll be making two effects today. One will be a 3D effect, and the other will be a 2D effect. Okay. So, without delaying any further, we'll start the session. Okay. So, Anuj has guided you all till downloading the Spark AR Studio. So the steps after that I'll be showing you right now. Okay. So let me just share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, Tanisha, it's visible.
Okay, so this is the Spark AR Studio that we'll be using to create our effects. And okay, first of all, we'll click on new project and okay, it's just lagging a bit. All right. Okay. Okay, so when you open the Spark AR Studio, this will appear and this is how the studio looks. So you might get a little confused at first, but since we are starting at a very beginner's level, so all your confusions will be cleared. So stay with us for the next 30 to 40 minutes and I'll take you through all the process that have to be done in order to create a 2D and a 2D and a 3D effect. Okay, so first of all, I'll give you an introduction of the Spark AR Studio before jumping into the AR effects. So this is how the studio looks, and we have three main panels here. This panel here, right here on the left hand side, is the scene panel. On the scene panel, we can add objects. It can be 2D object, a text, or 3D objects, and it will add the AR. The Spark AR Studio will add objects in this panel in a defined manner. And when I say defined manner, you will get to know it when we make an effect. So it has a very systemic method of adjusting elements that you add. They won't be added in a random order. They will be added in a well-defined manner for REs. And the panel right below the scene panel is the assets panel. The assets panel is useful when you want to import anything from your computer or you want to search the AR library. The AR library, okay, so AR library is inbuilt in the AR studio, and in the AR library we can search any objects that we want to add in our effects. So since Anuj has already told you that the theme of our initiative is to celebrate getting vaccinated and to celebrate the efforts of the frontline workers. So both the effects that we'll make today will be on that, so as to not lose essence of the initiative. And this panel which you see here, it is empty right now, but this is a very important panel, and it is known as the inspector panel. This panel is basically the mastermind of all the objects that you will be adding. So how to manage the objects that you will be adding, all of it will be done from this panel itself. So in, for example, you've added a text and you want to change the color of the text, or you want to change the font of the text, all of it will be done from this panel. Okay, and this here, the iPhone 8 is written, it's just a preview screen. It will give you an idea that how the effect will look on your phone, but the main screen on which we'll be working is this screen. This is the main area where all the action will happen. So you can see it's a little bit tilted. We'll just move it so you guys can have a better look. Okay, so you can't simply scroll like this in AR Studio. That's not how it is done. In order to set it right, you have to press Control and Alt to zoom it in and out. So I am pressing the Control and Alt key to zoom it in. And to change its shape and to change its orientation, we'll just click Alt and move it like this. So we can move the screen according to ourselves, however we feel comfortable. Okay. So, and you don't need to change the adjustments of these lights, the light and everything. They are usually in a well-based manner, so we don't touch that usually. And since it is a beginner session, we'll not be dealing with these things. It is a very advanced thing that we'll take somehow in the future, but today is a very beginner level session, so you all will learn how to make a 2D effect and a 3D effect. Okay, so now we know how the studio works, what are the panels, and one main thing, if we want to change the real-time stimulation here. So suppose you don't want this picture here, you can just go to video and select whatever fits you, and you can also select your own face. So if you're creating video and if you're creating effect and you want to see how it will look on your face, you can just click on USB video device and it will turn on your laptop's webcam and you can see how the effect looks on your face. So I'll be teaching you, so I'll keep my camera off and we'll work on this screen. And this here is the pause button. If you wish to pause the real-time stimulation, we can pause it, but I would advise you not to do so, because if we pause it, we won't get to know how the objects that we are adding in are behaving. Are they moving in with the movement of the real face-time simulation, or are they still? So we'll keep it as it is. And these two here are very important functions. This is the test on device. After you have done making your AR effect, if you want to see how it looks on your phone, you can click on the test on device option and it will give you a preview on how this thing is going to look when it goes on your social media handles on Facebook and Instagram, but that is after you have created it. And this is the publish button that we'll be using to create it at the end of the session. Okay, so I think we all now know the basics of AR effects, and we'll just start by making a 2D effect. Okay, so the first thing that we'll do is to add object. And since we are working on a face, so we'll add a face mesh. We'll just type in face mesh.
Uh, Tanisha, can I stop you for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
So there is a request to all of you. Please stop spamming. Number one. Number two, your talk and your language reflects a lot about your value system. You're requested to not make us feel bad about it. If you're not interested, you can actually move out. There is no hassle about it, but please be mindful of the language. Yes, Tanisha.
Okay, ma'am. So I think we can continue. Okay. So this is the face mesh that we have added. And as you can see, you might be wondering what we are doing by adding this face mesh. So I would like to tell you that when we are adding effects to our face, the first and the foremost step that we do is to add this face mesh. The face mesh, as you can see in the scene panel, comes under the face tracker. And as the name suggests, it will track all the objects that we are adding and will align it with your face. So you can directly add objects as well, but then it will create confusion for you. You'll have to align it properly. So it is always advisable to add a face mesh before adding any objects. So now we've added face mesh, but you can see that this is looking not it is not looking very good, and we might want to change its material. So for that, we'll go to the inspector panel and click on materials. Okay, so now we've selected the material, and as I said, all the objects that we'll add will come in the scene panel and the assets panel. So material is not an object, it is an asset. So it has come under the assets panel. So we'll just rename it so as to avoid any confusion. We're naming it face mesh material. Okay, all right. So what I was thinking is, what I had in mind for my 2D effect was I'll put a text at the bottom of the screen, and I'll add two stickers to my real-time face stimulation that will celebrate the efforts of the frontline workers. So first, let's add a text. To add a text, we'll go to add objects. We'll go to add objects and 2D objects. All right. So I just don't want to add a text that will be floating all over the screen. I want it in a proper rectangular box. So we can select rectangle here. Okay. So as you all can see, a rectangle has come in our screen, but it is here. So while working with 3D objects, we can simply scroll the alignment and adjust them according to ourselves. So I just want my box here at the bottom of my phone screen, and I can extend it. Okay, so in the preview screen, you will see this is how it appears, but it is again coming in a checkered pattern, and we don't want that. Okay, so we will again click on material. So whatever objects we add, to change any effect in them, we need to add materials, because material is basically like the cover of the object. So whatever we want to add on the object to change its color, to font or everything, will be done by adding the material. You can't directly change the color of the box or anything related to how the box or the object will appear without adding the material. So we'll add create new material, and we'll name it rectangular material. Okay, so now, okay, so it's done. So you can see now when I click on rectangular material, the inspector panel like this will appear, and we can change the color, the font, the opacity, and everything else of the text box now. So I want to change the color of my text box. I'll click on color, and suppose I want this to be green or whatever color you can choose. Okay, so I'll choose this color, and this will apply like this. So this is how 2D objects can be added. Adding 2D objects is very easy. And now, as you can see, the face mesh is on, and I need to add stickers on both sides of my real-time face stimulation. So for that, you can simply go to the browser and go to Spark AR Studio. Okay. So you will get to know what we are doing in a while. And On the Spark AR Studio, we'll click on Learn. We have a lot of options here. So we'll go to Downloads. And on the right side, you can see we have many options, but we want to download the face reference assets. So we'll click on the face reference assets and the face reference assets. Okay. Okay, so we'll click on download face reference assets now. So you can see a zip file is being downloaded, but I have already downloaded it, so I won't be wasting time in opening and extracting the files. The next step that we'll be doing, so basically you can, as I told you earlier, you can add 2D objects as it is by downloading it from the internet, but after you've done that, it might create a lot of confusion in aligning them in the studio, as you can't just simply drag them all over this place. So we'll first convert them in a well-defined manner, and for that we'll go to Photoshop, or your Photoshop is a very highly advanced platform, so we'll use something heavier than that, that is lighter than that, that is Photo Collage. So we'll go to Photo Collage and we'll browse here. Okay, so as I told you, I had already downloaded the face assets, so I'll just click on anyone which you feel comfortable with. Since my real-time face stimulation is masculine, so I'll click on masculine and open it. Okay, so in a while you'll get to know what we are doing. You just click on it and you can adjust according to yourself. I would, okay, and we can change the size of the canvas because it's currently too huge, so we'll change that as well. Let's make it to 675 and 670. Okay, this seems fine. Just a bit alignment. Okay, so now I'll add the stickers that I want in my 2D effect on this face and see how the alignment goes. So I'll click on add image and I have downloaded the sticker that I want to download. It is this. Okay, so I want to add this sticker on both sides of the face stimulation. We'll reduce the border size again to make it look neater. And we'll just reduce the size. Okay, and I'll paste it here. Okay, and I wanted both on both the sides, so I'll paste one over here. All right, so this is how it will look on our real-time face stimulation, but we don't want this masculine face coming along with the stickers, so we'll just click on it and we'll delete them. And now we'll just save this image as PNG. Okay, so I'll just save it as 2D effect. 2D effect. And make sure that you select it in PNG form. All right, done. Okay, now let's head back to our studio and see what we can do with that. Okay, so now again, we'll click on add object. Okay, we'll click on face mesh first. And this is the face mesh that we've added for the first time. And now we want to change this face mesh to the original face of the FaceTime simulation and add the stickers as well. So we'll click on textures and new textures. So you can now download whatever you wanted. So mine was this. Okay, so you can see that the stickers are where I wanted them now. So this is what I was talking about. If you go to Photo Collage and then you do all these things, it will be easier for alignment. But what you can simply download it from Google as well without using photo collage, but then it will create problem for you in alignment and it will be an unnecessary time taking process. So we can move with this process. It is faster and it is efficient as well. Okay, so now the effect has been made, but we need to add some text to it. So as I was in the starting, I told you that all the objects that we add in the Spark AR Studio will come in a defined manner. So this is what I was talking about. We added a rectangle and it automatically came under the canvas. We added a face mesh and it automatically came under the face tracker. So this is how the studio manages the assets or objects that we are adding in. They are not added in a random manner, they are added in a very well defined order. Okay, so now we'll add 2D objects and text. Okay, so for 2D objects, we don't need alignment. We can just simply drag them over and increase the size. Okay, so since we are celebrating frontline workers here, I'll just write hashtag COVID warriors. Okay. And but you might want to change the color of the text or font. So for that, you won't click here, you'll click here. And from here you can increase the size, change the font, whatever you want to do is all available in the inspector panel. And that's why I said that inspector panel is one of the most important panels here, because from here you can control, you have full control over your objects that you add. Okay, so we'll increase the font size from this section from 40 to 50. All right, now it is of a proper size. Okay, and if we want to add some kind of animation to our text, we can do that as well. So you can see in the scene panel, 2D text has been selected, and now we'll move on to the inspector panel and click on actions. So and actions and animate. So you can make it spin, float, pulse, blink. So I'll just select pulse. Okay, and you can see this is what it has done. And you don't touch this patch editor because this is a very basic effect. In the next 3D effect we might use this patch editor, but right now we are not using it because it is not required and the text has adjusted itself well on the preview screen. So this is the first effect, the 2D effect that we have created, and you all can also create it. So now we'll move on to the next part, that is to make a 3D effect, which is all you might be waiting for. So we'll just start with new project. Okay. So we'll just wait a minute. Okay. So we'll adjust it like this because for adding 3D objects, we need a better view of the panel. And we'll just zoom it in. Okay. So now the alignment is set. Now we'll start adding 3D objects. So for that, we'll go to AR library. So you can add 3D objects from here as well. You can see 3D objects and 3D text. But what I want is, I want to make an effect on the theme of our initiative. And I had an idea in mind which I would like to implement. So frontline workers, let's search doctors. What do we have here for doctors? Okay, we have this animation here. Okay, so let's add this 3D object to our preview screen and see how things goes. So just click on import free, and now it might take some time. It will take 1 or 2 minutes to download, and after that you can add it. So sometimes when you click on download, it might direct you to the Spark AR hub, and from there it will ask you to log into your Facebook ID. So I had already logged into my Facebook ID, so that's why it's not taking me in that tab. But if you're making it for the first time, it will take you there, and you have to log into your Facebook ID, and then you can import this material from here. Okay, so depending on the size of the 3D object that we are adding, it takes time. So here it is taking a little bit longer. Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes, things will come across. Okay, so our asset has been imported. You can see in the assets panel, Dr. Mario that we have selected has come, but it's not visible here in the panel. You can see, right? It's not visible here. So, okay, and this, okay, we were creating in this panel and it got imported here. So we'll just cross this one. I already have this effect saved, so I'll try to import it again. So it will be done in next 1 or 2 minutes. Let's just wait for it. Okay, it is here. And just click on done. And this. Okay, so you can see in the assets panel, Dr. Mario has appeared, but it is nowhere to be seen in the preview panel. And also a lot of unsupported material files you'll see in the inspector panel. That is nothing to be worried of. Just right click on the asset that you have added and click on expand all. Okay, so this is how it will appear, and we don't have to touch this. What we'll do is we'll just drag Dr. Mario, which is our asset, between the focal length and the ambient light, like this. Okay, so you can see the size of the object is very large, and you can't just zoom in and out and change the size of the object. That is not how it works for 3D objects. So we'll use our inspector panel here again. So for the size, we'll click on scale. We can see also for the 3D effects, you will see 3 axes have been created: the x-axis, y-axis, and the z-axis that we know. But we can't just zoom in and out, so we'll adjust each panel. As you can see, in scale 1, the size is very large, so let's try 0.05 x-axis, same for the y-axis, and same for the z-axis. Okay, so now the size is fine, but let's just increase it a little bit so as to make it more visible and appealing. Let's make it 0.07. Okay. And like we did for the 2D object, we can't drag this 3D object over the panel. We need to use the axis to move it in the preview panel. So for moving it left to right, we'll use our x-axis, the red one. So you can use this axis to move it left or right, and this axis to move it up and down, and the z-axis to move it roundabout. But we'll be placing our Dr. Mario here. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we'll add some more animation to this 3D object, but let's first write what we want to write in our 3D effect. So this time we'll add a 3D text. Just click on add object and 3D objects and 3D text. Okay. So the 3D text has been added in the scene panel, and inspector panel has changed accordingly. So as I told you, for the 3D objects, you can't move like by scrolling on it, you have to use the axis. So I'll use this axis and this axis to place the text over here, because this is how I plan to make my effect. Okay, it is still not aligned. Just take it a little bit higher. Okay, so I think this is fine. Okay, you can also adjust the position manually by clicking on position and typing in numerically, but that is not required. You can just scroll like this and this. This will create unnecessary confusion, but for the size, this is how it will be. Okay, so the text that we want to add, we'll add hashtag COVID warriors again, because that is our theme, and the other theme is getting vaccinated, but we'll be working with frontline workers today. Okay, so you can see the text has shifted a little bit to that side, so we need to align it again. Just click on 3D text and the axis. Okay, so now it is here, but it is getting out of the preview panel, so we'll just change its size on this. So changing the size of 3D objects is to be done by the scale panel, and you can already see the size is already very small. It is 0.0125. So we'll just shrink it a little bit. We'll do 1.5. Okay, now it is looking fine. And we'll add, we want to change, now I want to change the color of this text that I've added. I'm not liking it. So for that, we can see in the inspector panel, we have 3 materials. So we'll click on this material and again create new material, because as I told you, anything that we want to change in our 3D object will be done after adding the material. Okay, so material 1. Okay, so the text for it was, so the material for 3D text was material 1, and it has, material 1 has come here. So we'll just name it COVID warrior material, because we don't want to create unnecessary confusion regarding the names of the material. All right. Okay. All right. Now we click on this, and you can see, same as we did for the rectangle box, this has been done. Now I can change the color of my COVID warrior text. So let's just put a red. Okay. Okay. So the text looks fine now. But this is looking quite simple. So we'll add something else here. Let's add a rectangle box again and add some more text for our frontline workers. Okay. So when you're working for 2D objects, the process is simple, but for 3D objects, you'll have to manage everything from the inspector panel. This is something you'll have to work on, and this is a beginner video. But as you start using Spark AR Labs, you'll get comfortable with it, and then you can make AR effects that are not very basic. So we'll just click on rectangle 0 and add another material for it. Create new material and name it again rectangle material. Okay, so let's just, this time let's first not, let's change the color, and we'll change this part, the opacity, and we can adjust it according to ourselves. I wanted little on the lighter side, so I'll keep it like this, and then change the color so as to look it more appealing. Okay, done. Okay. Okay, I think it's looking better now. Okay, so we'll add some more text to our 3D effect now. 2D text, and let's add thank you doctors. Okay, since it was a 2D text, we can move it like this, but it was not the same case for the 3D text. We had to align it properly. Okay, this, and then we'll change the color. From here, from the inspector panel, we can change the color of the 2D text. Just make it white. Okay, and we'll increase the size a little bit more. All right, this looks nice. Okay, so it is looking nice, but the effect is still very basic. So we'll try to add some animation to our 3D object, this Dr. Mario that we've added here. So let's just click on it. Okay, so as you can see, when we clicked here, the axis came back. Okay, so in the same way that we did for the text, we'll click on actions, animate. You can also use these options, position on face, left cheek, right cheek. All these are also available, or place in the real world space. But in this effect, we'll just keep it to a simple animation, which is float. Okay, so now the object that we've added have started floating on our screen, and you can see this is the patch editor. So in the patch editor, you can see there are several columns that you can fill if you want to change the duration of the spinning, the animation that you've added, or you can change the start time, end time, everything like that. But that is something you can do after a little practice. In this video, we'll not be talking about that. We'll just keep it simple and we'll just end it like this. And let's add some animation to our text as well. The 3D text. Okay, let's add a blink to this one. Okay, so this is how our 3D effect is now looking, and you can add more objects if you wish to from the AR library or from anywhere else, but I think for basics this is enough for you, and you can start making your AR effect. So this effect is now complete, but we need to publish it because that is the final process. So we'll just click on publish from here. Okay, so we'll just select publish new effect. If you have already submitted one effect and you want to update it, you can click on update existing effect and choose the effect that you want to update. But since we are publishing it for the first time, we'll click on publish new effect. And as you can see, the file meets all the requirements, and sometimes it happens that you might add objects that are very large in size. So the Spark AR will automatically compress the size. It will take some time, 3-4 minutes it will take, and it will compress it, and then your file will meet all the requirements. So we'll just upload. Okay, so as you can see, it is written that we'll be redirected to Spark AR Hub. So all right. Okay, so now we are at the final stage of publishing our effect, and you can see we can give it a name. So when it gets published on your Instagram, on your Facebook, it will have a unique name. So let's just name it uh, thank you doctor effect. Let's just name it thank you doctor effect. Thank you doctor 3D effect. Okay, there's some word limit to it. Okay, so let's just keep it like this, thank you doctor. And so you can see our effect has already been uploaded here. And now you can select the platforms on which you want to publish this AR effect. It can be Facebook, Instagram, or both. So I'll just post it on Facebook. You can also post it on both or any platform of your choice. Okay, so audience. Under the audience, you can select with whom you want to share your effect. It can be public. Anyone on the platform can see it. Or you can just select link and share link with people with whom you want to share it. So we'll just keep link only for now. Okay, and icon is also optional. You can make a demo video of yourself and upload it here, but that is not required for submission. If you submit just this much, it will be enough. So just click on publish. So your file is being uploaded now. Okay, so you have published your effect. So this is the screen that you can take the screenshot of, and just click on view link. Copy the link if you want to share it with your friends on any other platform other than Facebook and Instagram, and you can do that as well. So if you by chance missed taking the screenshot when that flash up came, your effect has been published, you can go to effects and you can see that your effect that we made right now, thank you doctor, review status accepted. So you can take a screenshot of this page and then submit it on the registration site. So this is how it is done. So I think we have done it all. We have made 2D effect, we've made 3D effect, we've added text, and we've published it. So this was a very basic tutorial for using Spark AR Labs. Of course, when you start using it, you will get more comfortable with it. But for enrolling in this contest, this might be enough for you, and you can submit it. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and then we'll take on your questions. All right. Okay. All right. So Anuj, can we take some questions now?
Yes, let's take on few questions.
Yes. All right. So how to publish, and I think we did that. Where do we have to upload it? Someone has asked where's uploaded this. So when we are working on the Spark AR Studio, when we clicked on publish, we'll be automatically redirected to Spark AR Hub, and you don't need to separately open that in your browser. You will be automatically redirected to that page when you click on publish on the Spark AR Studio. So that's how you publish it, and we've shown it. How do I update
And
my effect
we
if it is already
yes,
published? Okay. So you might have seen when I was submitting my effect, we got an option while publishing, publish a new effect or update an existing one. So if you want to update the effect that you have submitted, just click on update the existing effect and choose file, and you can start editing it and then publish it.
and
In
Siddhanta, you have to make at least on one. It's upon you if you're making on two, but yes, you need to select a topic and make on that. And there was a question, how where do we submit? As Tanisha have showed you, you need to how to publish it. You need to take a screenshot and you need to save that screenshot and upload it on the dashboard, which I showed you at the start.
yes. So there's a question in the part where you used photo collage. Did you delete the face component? Yes, I did delete it. You have to delete it. Otherwise, the effect will be saved with the face asset, and we don't want that because that will create unnecessary confusion. We can edit it in the Spark AR Studio as well, but it will just take a click if we delete it in the photo collage itself.
Yes, after publishing, the filter will go to the Facebook Spark AR team, and they will verify it according to terms and conditions, and then give you the approval. And for the question, which screenshot do we have to upload? You can select any of the one screenshot. One, when you get a pop-up that you have successfully submitted your AR effect. One, if you miss out that pop-up, then you can go to the effects section and take a screenshot of your published effect.
Okay, so there's a
Okay.
question, how do I record the demo video? Okay, so when we were publishing the effect, I told you that there's an option right above the publishing option, test on device. So when you click on test on device, you'll get an option to record your video, and that is how you can do it. And after recording the demo video also, you will be automatically redirected to the Spark AR hub for submission.
Yes, but if you're facing any issues with that or your laptop doesn't have a cam, so what you can do is that you can download a Spark AR player, and when your Facebook account is connected, so you'll get an option to send a request. You can send a request and accept it on your phone, and then you'll be able to record from your phone, and then you can upload that.
Okay, so someone has asked, can we submit as it is for the contest? Yeah, you can make the same effect that I have made by changing the stickers and everything like that. Just change the images and you can submit it. Yes, you can submit it
Basically,
what I've explained.
yeah, basically you can use the same format but not the same elements.
Yes, the format can be same, but the images should be different. How to see
Okay.
others?
Okay, so
Okay, how?
others will. Yeah, Tanisha, you are taking this question. Yeah, take on.
Yeah, show how others will see the effect that you have made. So once it gets approved by Facebook, you'll get a link and a notification on whatever platform you've chosen to publish. For example, you have chosen Instagram, so it will automatically appear in the highlight section, right, Anuj? Like we add
Yeah.
stories, so that
Yes,
is
and if others are viewing your filter or AR effect, so there will be a flash of your account that you have created this. So yes, you will get the publications and the credit for making that.
okay. 3D elements of our choice from the internet. Yes, of course, you can add 3D elements of your choice from the internet. When we were using the Spark AR Studio, you might have noticed there was a choice, there was an option to select from either your computer or from the AR library. So if you have selected something that you like from the web, just download it on your computer, save it, and then from the assets panel, you can select add objects from computer.
There are a few people who are asking around the submissions. So I guess publishing the effect has been cleared. I'll just share my screen and show you. So basically, just, okay, my screen is visible. So you have to submit here. This is the dashboard where you have all the steps mentioned here, and you need to click on submit screenshot, select whichever problem statement you have selected or the topic, and after that you just click on browse and upload a screenshot. So this is where you have to upload it.
Okay, thank you, Anuj. So now we have a question. Can we use any mode of tracking like target tracking? Yes, absolutely. We use face tracking because we were adding elements on our face. But if you want to add real-time objects, for example, you just want to add something on your hand, so you can select target tracking. Then we were working with the face component, so we started with face tracking.
So the
Google.
details regarding tomorrow's workshop, the agenda you will receive on mail along with the calendar invitation. So that's nothing to be worried about. And there's a question: what kind of screenshot should we submit? As Tanisha mentioned and I said earlier, there are two kinds of screenshot which you can use. The pop-up when you get that you have submitted your uh, AR effect, you can take that pop up as a screenshot, or the second one, you can go to the effects section and take a screenshot of that. And yes, when you submit the effect, you can try it on your face and you can upload that video.
Okay. So how many filters can we upload? Okay, so for entering the contest, you have to submit at least one filter. After that, it's your personal choice. You can submit as many filters as you want for your personal use, for just putting it on your Instagram or any other social media account. But for this contest, you have to post at least one effect, or after posting first effect, you can publish as many effects as you want.
And the last day to submit is 20 of this month, but make sure to do before that. And the process which was shown by Tanisha isn't static. It was the basics which she wanted to show you of, adding different objects using face mesh or target locations. So you can use it on your own, you can explore on your own, and you don't need to follow the steps which she showed you while presenting.
Yes, so basically, what I did was, it was a very beginner level thing, so that anyone who has not used Spark AR ever in their life can submit a proposal for now at least. But the Spark AR studio is open to you, and you can explore it and make anything of your own. So you don't necessarily need to stick to what I have told you. This was a very basic introduction to Spark AR.
And yes, you can change the background screen, but I
Yes,
guess we have shared enough information with you, so I guess it's a hit and try for you now. You can, go and practice the hands on, and it will be more fun for you.
yes, exactly. So do we need to test all the objects on demo persons, or we can go for our own? Oh, yeah, as I told you, you can go for your own face stimulation that you can do. You don't need to stick to that face that I was showing you. You can just select your own face or someone else's face. That is completely your choice.
So, do we have any more questions?
No, I think that was it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
So
everyone for, yeah.
yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and over to Anamika and Aska if we have anything else to cover or any information regarding tomorrow's session.
Yes.
Hi. So I don't have any questions as of now, but at the same time, you have the schedule with you. All of you have received the schedule in your mails. So tomorrow again, we'll be doing a hands-on thing. Today we did a 2 day effect, and tomorrow we'll be doing the 3D effect. Right, Tanisha?
Yeah, we'll just dig deep into the 3D effect one.
Perfect, perfect. So can you upload the hands-on on the other video, Tanisha?
Yes, can we upload the hands on? I think you mean to ask, will this video be uploaded? I mean, we'll be adding more 3D objects in tomorrow's workshop, and we'll go deep into the 3D tracking. So, this is what we'll be doing tomorrow.
Right. So thank you very much once again. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
Again,
Thank you
once
everyone for coming.
again, a quick reminder: last date of submission is 20th June. You're requested not to waste for the last day. If you have learned something and you want to, try it today and upload it, please go ahead, do it. Right? All right.